What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Destination Pro Wrestling. My name is Tony, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at Tango with Ango. AEW has signed Dustin Rhodes, AKA Goldust, AKA Dustin Runnels, son of the Dream, brother of Cody Rhodes. And we knew about this because they obviously announced it. They did a special Road to Double or Nothing video. And, that's not all. AEW has signed 4 more talent in addition to Goldust. And I want to talk about that in today's video because I think there's actually some really big upside to the news of these individuals getting signed. So just this past weekend, 5 individuals have signed to the AEW roster. Very, very interesting moves happening here in AEW. So with that being said, I want to say thank you guys for stopping by to the channel, making Destination Pro Wrestling a very, very awesome place to be when it comes to pro wrestling. Closing in on 22,000 subscribers, so thank you guys for that. But guys, we got to talk about it. So we're first going to talk about Cody Rhodes versus Goldust because there's a little bit of controversy behind this. This was actually reported about a month or two ago, and Goldust completely ignored this and said, guys, this is fake news, stop being a mark, blah, 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 blah. And of course, everybody was like, okay, we believe you. We trust that you're not going to your brother's company. But common sense, pretty much, I feel like at this stage of the game, we all kind of had common sense. Why would you not go to your brother's company, especially if there's going to be billionaires running it? So Goldust, if you guys didn't know, came out on Twitter. He said that he requested his release from WWE. They granted it, and that they have let him go. And now he is going to be at Double or Nothing against Cody Rhodes. Now, this match in its own is really up to you guys to decide whether you're excited for this. To me, I'm not, especially because I'm going to Vegas. I was really hoping Cody Rhodes would have had a better opponent. Not that these two guys can't have a good match. I'm sure they could. I can't remember. I feel like they fought at WWE Fastlane. I probably have to check on that. I feel like I've watched them, the Goldust versus Stardust thing. But again, that was a while ago and different circumstances. This is obviously a very big show. It just doesn't seem that way with the way this card is shaping up. But I know it's a big show. It's a very big deal. So we don't know what's going to necessarily happen here. I don't know where this match is being placed on the card. But very interesting. Historically, 10, 15 years from now, we're going to look back and say, hey, their first ever official pay-per-view under AEW's name had the Rhodes brothers. And that's one thing in its own. If that excites you guys, that's great for you. But Goldust going to AEW is very interesting. We don't know what kind of role he will have, if he's going to be a full-time wrestler, if he's going to do some backstage stuff after. Because I always believed Goldust would be a producer or agent for WWE. And then obviously when it came out that AEW was coming out and Cody was running it, obviously I had feelings that he would go there. So this doesn't shock me. It's nothing really too exciting. You guys probably knew about this news. But today we got some more news that AEW had signed 4 more stars. So in total, 5 stars. And 2 of the signings I think are really, really interesting. But if you guys don't remember who Leva Bates, she is the girl that played Blue Pants in NXT. This is somebody, for some reason, the NXT crowd loved. And I could kind of understand. She had some charisma. She was fun. She put over Blue Pants as her gimmick. But the NXT crowd absolutely loved her. The NXT crowd is a more hardcore crowd. So I don't think this is actually going to be an issue for Bates to actually get over in AEW. But what was really interesting about this was Cody Rhodes had tweeted that she has become #TheLibrarian. Now, this was very funny considering that Matt Jackson from the Young Bucks tweeted out that Peter Avalon is the one and only librarian. So the fact that they both said this was very interesting because the librarian, there was only supposed to be one person to be the librarian. So AEW probably has a storyline here that they're working on. They're probably going to develop something. Who knows for sure. Bates is a great wrestler, and I think she's going to do very, very well with that hardcore audience. Another thing about Peter Avalon, people don't know, but he's from, it's going to kill me, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. So, the thing here is AEW just signed 2 people that are talented, that have the ability to do pretty good things in the wrestling world, and they're doing it without having to sign former WWE full-time talent. So I think it's a very good move for AEW making signings like this. I think most importantly, AEW, part of me wants to see them sign some big names, but part of me enjoys the fact that they're taking smaller names and going to try to build them up. That could be problematic, especially, for the first couple shows, Fight for the Fallen, Double or Nothing, All In 2. Like, these kind of shows might be problematic. I'm not going to lie to you guys, because a lot of times people do want to see the bigger names, whether they're from WWE, New Japan, or Impact. They want to see the big names. AEW is not necessarily doing that, but it's very cool to see that AEW is giving attention to those who aren't that big. And I'm interested to see how well AEW develops talent, because as you guys all know, this was an issue for TNA. TNA, they put themselves in a position where TNA kind of signed pretty much all the washed up guys from WWE. Some guys did pretty well for their company, but when they decided to do that, they stopped showing love and appreciation for their younger talent, their developing talent, and it caused a lot of people to leave. And when they left, they either went and did very well on the indies, or they went on to WWE. And so now we're in a situation where AEW is, they're rumored to take some WWE guys here and there, but for the most part, they're really looking at developing names from smaller shows, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I don't think you could really go wrong with that. But now they signed 2 other additional pieces to their company, and I think this was a fantastic move because, as you know, AEW is looking at focusing on tag teams, and they ended up signing the tag team Private Party, which, if you don't know who they're from, where they're from House of Glory Wrestling. And again, this kind of goes into the same thing that we just talked about, with Avalon and Bates. Like, this is a tag team that, they're a tag team that has sort of like this nice, cool look and a little bit of extra swagger. They got the drip. They're coming through. They're doing their thing. Again, AEW is taking a lot of names that people may not be familiar with, but they're putting them on a stage where they're saying, look, we're going to give you a chance. We're going to do some big things. Now, the one thing I love about this, House of Glory has a lot of talent that are like actually talented. So I don't know if House of Glory has signed like a developmental deal with Impact. I know they're doing like a collaboration show, but if AEW was smart, House of Glory should be another company that they work with, because not only is Private Party a good tag team, but House of Glory has a ton of other talent that they can definitely do a share. And if you're AEW, having the ability to share talent with a small company like that, it definitely helps you out. It's definitely advantageous. So really good stuff for AEW here. 4 talented stars that aren't very big. And then, of course, they signed Goldust, which I think Goldust was a given. And the match between him and Cody is going to be very, very interesting, because nobody knows the route that they're going to go with booking it. Now, with that being said, I have to kind of talk about this because it's so incredibly important. We're at a stage in the game with AEW, because they're signing so many smaller names. Double or Nothing may be a good all-around wrestling show, but storylines and things like that may not make enough sense just starting off. And the reason for that is because they're in the introductory phase. So my ask out of everybody when it comes to Double or Nothing, watch it with an open mind. Because if you're not familiar with the talent, if you don't know who these people are, that's okay. This is the introduction phase. This is AEW putting on a pay-per-view event in a very big arena with a lot of attention on them. A lot of people are going to be watching not knowing who most of the people on the roster is. And normally that would be a bad thing, but when you're a company like AEW, if you could put on some storylines and make some sense out of these things, being a brand new company, this is pretty much day one for this roster. Like, this is their introductory phase. A lot of people aren't familiar with half this roster, and this became apparent in my last video. So all I'm saying is watch it with an open eye, have open ears, listen to it, find out what you love, find out what you hate, criticize what makes sense or what didn't make sense to you, but at the same time, try to enjoy it, because this could be a really good wrestling show. Every person on their roster, they're great wrestlers. That's not the issue. But obviously, as far as storylines and creative, we don't know what AEW's creative is going to look like until TV starts. And there's about 3 or 4 pay-per-views until TV starts. So just kind of keep that in mind. I know a lot of people have been criticizing the roster, but we have to appreciate the fact that we're not getting a bunch of old 50-year-old wrestlers that just left WWE. Goldust is obviously an older guy, but I don't think that counts. Like, he is the brother of Cody Rhodes. It made sense on all counts. So him leaving WWE didn't really shock me. But obviously, with that being said, him and Chris Jericho are the two WWE vets in the company, and the rest of the guys, they've been successful elsewhere. And you could throw Neville or Pac on that list. He had potential. He was a thing in WWE, but WWE never really made him a big deal. And obviously, he was successful before WWE. He's going to be successful after WWE. So it's kind of cool to see what AEW is doing here, but obviously they are putting out a challenge. This is not an easy thing. It doesn't matter how many big names you sign. People want to put their eyes and focus on the young guys that are coming up. So hopefully these guys have a good show. But 5 new talent signed to AEW, Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes, officially confirmed for Double or Nothing. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button for more pro wrestling news. Got a lot of things coming this week. And as always, guys, I will see you next time. Thank you for watching Destination Pro Wrestling. My name is Tony. Follow me on Twitter at TangoWayTango, and I'll see you next time.